Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Finstep Asia Edge. We're here again at GFF 2024. As promised, we are bringing you startups from India who are doing exciting things, in particular looking at how they are using AI for financial services. With us is Hari Subramanian, who is the CEO and co-founder of Niti.AI, doing interesting things around the RegTech applications and other things in financial services. So, Hari, welcome to the Finstep Asia Edge podcast. Lovely to have you here today. And happenstance, we went past, we loved what you're doing. We would love to understand more, but I want to start with you as an entrepreneur. What got you into entrepreneurship and what attracted you to set up a company with others as such? Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me here, Syed. Wonderful to be here with you talking, as well as to be part of this broader ecosystem of, what I call the Kumbh Mela of fintech, where
Sure,
the entire India descends down
Yeah.
to talk fintech. Just to tell you a little bit about my background, I've been a technology builder, a technologist all my life. Started my life as a kernel software developer. If you haven't heard that for a long time, I used to sort of hack down in the details of the Linux kernel and
Sure.
build a storage and various sort of memory management systems. Worked at VMware for a long time, which
Okay.
is one of the enterprise software company. Then when the cloud era happened, went on from there to AWS, building EC2,
Sure.
the bread and butter of AWS, and built a lot of enterprise EC2 capabilities, enterprise compute capabilities for large enterprises to lock, stock, and barrel move to AWS.
Sure.
Much of my life career was spent in the US. Actually, moved to the US in 2002. Spent about 17 years there.
Yeah.
The last
Okay.
sort of stint in the US was with Uber,
Okay.
where I was building the AI, ML, and data systems at Uber. Think the Databricks for Uber, the internal versions of that,
Sure.
and largely sort of productionizing enterprise grade software at Uber. Moved back to India, and one of the things that I and my co-founder were blown away by in India is the API standardization and the digital public infrastructure rails that existed, unheard of globally. I mean, even in the US, when we had seen sort of more advanced products, the infrastructure layer was always a mess. In India, there was this beautiful standardization. We also saw a huge opportunity for digital-led financial services to happen in the country, where the
Sure.
higher layers of demand and the needs were still being met on the payments layer and the lending layer, but things around wealth, insurance, even corporate banking, transaction banking,
Correct.
things were heavily undigitized. Huge appetite for financial services that were digitally first and digitally led. Huge API standardization, but a great white space in infrastructure platforms that help build those products. We
Sure.
started building an infrastructure platform that brings to market new financial services products, all aspects of it, including RegTech and onboarding, but all aspects of of product building that could be done in the platform. You might have seen AI software agents or Devin
Yes.
for generic software development. We are building AI agents for financial service products.
Okay, very interesting. One Harvapsi, we are all happy to see more talent come back, I think, to the country and build it. As you said, I've also seen it from outside in, inside out kind of conversation. A lot has grown in India from the appetite to build and be digital first in some senses, or at least become very quickly digitally embedded and enabled.
Right.
And this is across, right? And with public infrastructure, the DPIs
Right.
that we have with Digital India Stack is a big advantage. So now you found the use case, you got into it, you've been around for about 2-3 years now? For
2 years. We started
now, yeah.
our story exactly 2 years ago at GFF. My co-founder and I had just exited the company, our previous company, walking around the aisles just like all these people here,
Or else today,
just trying to explore what were the white spaces. That was
Yeah.
2 years ago. Last year, again at GFF, we launched our platform for the first time
Sure.
for public consumption. We were working with sort of private beta customers until then. We launched it publicly at GFF last year. Now we're working with about 10 customers in the
Okay.
BFSI space. That's been our journey.
So maybe we can talk a little bit about what the core services / products are and why that is essentially a white space or a growing space in the financial services world.
Yeah, so think of Niti.AI as a fintech infrastructure platform where you can build and launch new financial service products from idea to sort of managing the full life cycle of that
Okay.
of the digital product. So we bring AI transformations to banks and financial services.
Sure.
AI transformations that are customer facing, so that if you're interacting with a digital channel as a customer of the bank, you get a highly contextual banking application that is able to respond to you, that's able to surface to you the right product. If you're a back office user, a risk team, a compliance team, you have AI that is enabling great automation across approvals, credit risk
Yeah.
management, as well as workflows and front end and back end and all of that stuff, data and analytics capabilities that are
Yeah.
AI first. It's a platform to build great digital financial products that are AI first.
Sure.
We sort of look at the problem as three core components that we bring to the table. First is a host of fintech enabling capabilities. If you want to build KYC, AML, risk, distribution of various products, all of that is available as APIs that are pre-integrated in our product. That's where the India stack helps.
Sure.
That beautiful API standardization helps. On top of that API integration layer, we have fully templatized financial service products that are infinitely configurable. So
Okay.
if you want to launch a new FD program, you can actually take a template from us, modify as a template to suit the needs of the financial institution, and the modifications are also largely prompt based. You can
Okay.
actually converse with an LLM as a product manager that can change the journey and productionize that product and go live completely on our platform. So we have significantly short circuited the effort required and accelerated digital build out for financial services institutions of all kinds.
Now, this LLM is locally developed by Niti.AI, or are you leveraging on ChatGPT, Grox, or some of the other
We do
commercial
a
LLMs right now?
combination,
Okay.
there are multiple ways to actually go about, and it depends on the financial institution. As we all know, the AI policy around various sort of regional policies is still evolving. Some financial institutions are comfortable using cloud-hosted models
Sure.
that are not their own. Some want to be productionizing their
Local.
own models.
Yeah.
We do both approaches. We actually support Llama 70 billion, 150 billion open source models that could be productionized. We also leverage OpenAI. We also leverage solutions like Gemini or Amazon Bedrock, so we can give connectivity to various AI and ML backends. We help productionize these as well in our platform. So
Okay.
a variety of use cases today. I think the roadmap is rapidly evolving, right, in terms of how
Of
AI
course,
is
yeah, yeah.
productionized by financial services.
And now there's another conversation that happens around, financial services are such a heavily regulated industry.
Right.
There's a lot of conversations that regulators are having on explainability. AI goes rogue or has other issues. Doesn't have to necessarily go rogue, but it could misfire, has hallucinations, and in a financial services, a hallucination could lead to a excess loan or a deduction, etc. How do you optimize for that, or how these models you're able to enable, or is that a work in progress? Trying to understand how you see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I mean, we take regulation very seriously, right? The DNA of the founders has been building enterprise tech. We were
Sure, yeah,
at
yeah.
Amazon. My co-founder was at Microsoft as a PhD in computer science. So so DNA has been very enterprise focused software that we have built.
Sure.
Therefore, building for financial services with the regulator is sort of part of the DNA. We work very closely with the regulator. There is a body called the RBI Innovation Hub,
Correct,
which
RBI,
acts as a glue between the regulator and fintechs. They have a large booth out there. If you haven't visited,
Yes, yeah.
please go visit. We also have a short interview in the booth that we have done. My co-founder has done that you could sort of watch, that is playing there.
Okay.
We work very closely with the regulator. We also watch the privacy space very closely.
Yeah.
The DPDP bill is evolving. In my evening time, I actually also volunteer with iSpirit. I'm not sure if you know the work that iSpirit has done, but I primarily volunteer in the space of data privacy. So we watch that space very closely. So what we have done is proactively taken all the right technology, made all the right technology choices, and taken the right precautions to make sure that we are sort of privacy first. We are protecting of what data the enterprise is generating,
Yeah.
and what data is PII, right?
Yeah.
So that's sort of how the DNA is. But we watch the space closely because the regulations themselves are evolving.
Yeah.
And the best practices around AI safety is evolving. So as that happens, we'll make sure that we do the right thing and build the right tech guardrails around it.
All right. Final question is going to be on, where do you see this industry going, right? I think with Chat GPT in particular, and this is my view on this, is it kind of led to commoditization of Gen AI, right? Earlier it was very expensive. Now you reach models where up to a certain limit you have a free use for the retail market, and everybody starts using this, right?
Yeah.
On the commercial enterprise side, it's a wholly different conversation, but the prices have crashed in terms of models and how much you can use. So how are you seeing this? I wouldn't call it democratization of Gen AI, but commercialization and easy access to Gen AI,
Yeah.
building in a regulated space. Are you seeing more players come in? And what would be your thoughts in next steps for what Niti.AI will reach in a 3 to 5 year time frame? What are your targets? Yeah.
Honestly, I think I feel very fortunate to be actually to being an entrepreneur at this part of what's happening in the ecosystem.
Sure.
I think it's a phenomenal time to be building in the AI space.
Agreed. Yeah.
Things are evolving at breakneck speeds, and you see innovation just happening.
Yeah.
Right. And you talked about it, right? There is certainly model training has become zero cost because you have these pre-trained models that have sort of seen the world, and they can fairly intelligently answer various questions, interpret data, analyze, synthesize information, reproduce information,
Yeah.
summarize stuff. So there is a whole bunch of work that's happened in how pre-training has actually reduced the cost of training models.
Correct.
But the other thing that's happening is that the cost of inference, which is when you ask a question, how much money do you have to spend to actually get an answer back, is also rapidly falling.
Yeah.
Right? Which means that we are already building with the hypothesis that 5 years from now, the cost of an AI agent to answer a question for you will be near zero.
Okay.
And if you have that level of intelligence which can work with you, every aspect of how you leverage technology will change. Right? I read this somewhere, but the number of accountants, before and after the calculator was invented, what happened to it?
Increase.
Actually, significant. It blew. It sort of went through the roof. Right? So we believe that the amount of software and the amount of SaaS and technology first solutions will actually, the TAM for that will 2x. As the cost of technology lowers, it's elastic demand, right? People will consume more of technology, and it will sort of become every aspect of what you do will incorporate that intelligence. So, and we are sort of thinking about how to apply that in the financial services space. How do you think about, how do you build everything with the customer at the center?
Yeah.
How do you understand the context of the customer to be able to surface them the right advice, the right products, the right combination of what would make their life simple, right? And how can financial institutions, which have traditionally struggled in building tech compared to the gaming or e-commerce or retail or other spaces, how can they? I think banks and financial institutions will leapfrog innovation. They'll actually, just like how in India we went from having no telephone to sort of directly having mobile phones. I think banks will sort of leapfrog that innovation and become AI first, and we really want to be contributing and leading that change if we can in any way.
This has been a very fascinating conversation.
My
Honestly,
pleasure.
I'm very happy you found Calvin discovered you guys, and you've been doing some really good work. And I'm looking forward to the progress, and hope to see you in the next edition.
Hope to see you
of
soon.
GFF
Hopefully next
2025.
GFF.
And yeah, and I welcome you to come to Hong Kong as well. Hong Kong FinTech Week is the beginning
Thank you very much.
end of October, beginning of November as such, and to showcase there's a lot of interest in banks and looking at artificial intelligence. So thanks once again, Hari, and audience, stay tuned for more interesting conversations from GFF. Click like, subscribe, and follow us for more. Thank you very much.